Welcome to the Dreamit Dose. I'm Adam Dakin, Managing Director of Dreamit Health Tech. In my last dose, I highlighted the virtual pitch mistakes that will get you to a fast no before your pitch even starts. My next few doses are going to cover the often overlooked post-pitch Q&A session. Let's assume you've watched all the Dreamit doses, avoided common record scratches, and your pitch is tight and cohesive. Mission accomplished. You piqued investor interest. However, the real pressure testing starts with the Q&A. Experienced investors are experts at asking questions that reveal far more than was actually being asked. While these questions may seem simple and obvious, many are just landmines waiting to be stepped on. Let's get started.
Dreamit Ventures has been investing in great early-stage startups for over a decade. The Dreamit Dose allows us to share best practices to help even more founders. Tell us about your great startup using the links below.
Here's one of my personal favorites. What's your valuation? This one should be a layup because there's literally only one right answer, and it's actually only one sentence long. But many of you, actually most of you, are this up. We'll come back to that one sentence in a moment. Here's a typical answer to the valuation question. We're looking for a 10 to 12 pre-money valuation based on significant progress since our last round. That seems innocuous enough, right? But giving a number, any number, is a mistake. Giving a range actually just compounds the mistake. The investor just anchored on the lower number. The very top of your range is now set at 10 million. Further, you never want to be the one to offer a number first. If investors think your proposed valuation is too high, they may check out right there, or they may pressure you to justify the valuation. And remember, VCs determine valuations for a living. Unless you're a former VC, you'll be bringing a knife to a gunfight. Under pressure, many founders become defensive or sensitive. Not a good look for someone asking for investor backing. Here's the thing. If you answer the right way, you won't be in a defensive position. Giving a valuation number also reveals a degree of unsophistication. Why? Valuation is not set by you, your team, your investors, or your board. New investors don't really care about the last round's valuation or all the milestones that you feel justify a step up. If you don't know this, you sound like a rookie. Valuation is part art, part science. Many factors come into play, not the least of which are market conditions and, most importantly, competition, all of which are constantly changing. But it's also important to understand VC Math 101. The VC believes your company has a reasonable chance of achieving a certain exit valuation. We then back out the maximum post-money valuation to deliver a venture-level return. It's really that simple. Most early-stage VCs are aiming for a 5 to 10x return. Let's say the VC thinks that your company has a real shot at being acquired for $100 million. In this case, the maximum post-money valuation to deliver a 5 times return is, that's right, $20 million. I routinely hear founders say they got screwed by vulture capitalists who invested at low valuations and acted opportunistically. This drives me nuts. I've co-founded several companies and served on many boards. I've been through my share of down rounds and ugly financings, so I'm not unsympathetic. But if you believe in supply and demand, there's no such thing as an unfair deal. If you create a competitive process, your valuation goes up. Have only one investor who can keep the lights on? Thank you, sir. May I have another? If you think a deal is unfair, walk away and find a better one. You don't have to take the money. Another blaring record scratch are step-up bridge round valuations set by existing investors. We recently closed a bridge at a $20 million valuation, up from a $14 million post in the last round. If this valuation is not set by new investors, it's meaningless. In fact, it may be worse than meaningless. I have no idea if the valuation is actually fair, and I likely do not have the motivation or stamina to debate valuation with your existing investors, especially if they're not experienced institutional investors. Ready for the one-sentence answer to the question, what's your valuation? The market will determine our valuation. Yep, that's it. Now, if you feel compelled to expound, you could add something like, we have a lot of investor enthusiasm and discussions are going well. We're focused on pulling together a great syndicate, which we think includes your fund. Are we the kind of company you'd consider investing in? If so, what are the next steps in your process? Investors are clever. We have many ways of making you confess. Are your investors expecting a step up, or can you at least give us some guidance regarding your valuation? Hold your ground. Do not give a number. Remember, this is not your typical I go high and you go low negotiation. This is not a one-time transaction like buying a car or a house. Finding the right investors who can add real value is more important than just the valuation. All right, here's a quick recap on addressing valuation. 1, never give a number and don't double down on the mistake by giving a range. 2, even when pressed, the answer is always the same. The market will determine our valuation. And 3, remember to close by asking, are we the kind of company your fund would consider investing in? That's it. Now you're ready to crush the valuation discussion. Stay tuned for the next dose in this series where we will address another question most founders trip over: how much are you raising? Please leave your questions in the comments section, and if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. To see all of our doses, go to dreamit.com/dose. And if you're the founder of a great health tech startup, visit dreamit.com/apply. And I likely don't have the motivation or the stamina to debate that. We recently closed a $20 million valuation, up from 14. Closed a bridge. This is not a one-time transaction.